Sales remain strong. Rentals are on fire. Welcome, guys, to your October 2021 Hoboken Market Update. Guys, I'm Jeff Bonk from HBB Group and eXp Realty here in Hoboken. And today we're going to take a look at a couple of the headlines and then also some of the numbers. But then what does that mean if you're a buyer, seller, renter, or landlord in the Hoboken market? So first headline we have, guys, is sales market remains hot. Very strong. We're seeing very good ask to contract price ratios. We're seeing very low inventory. Let's run through a couple of the numbers and then we'll talk about what that means if you're a buyer or seller in today's market. So looking at today's active inventory, which this is how many properties are currently on the market, we currently have 208 active sales on the market in Hoboken. And for comparison, last year at this time, the same exact month, we had 410 on the market. So we're almost at half of what we had last year. A sign that not a lot of sellers and a lot of buyers driving down the inventory. Another way we look at how many housings are on the market and the strength of the market is the ratio, how quickly they're coming on, how fast they're going off, and that's months of inventory. And anything below 3 months is considered a very strong seller's market. And right now we're hovering right above 2 months of inventory on the market. And for context, last year at the end of October, we had almost 4.5 months of inventory on the market. So we're below 50% of what we saw last year at this time. So very strong market, less coming on, more going off. Other than just supply, guys, the prices are very strong too. Last year at this time, the average price per square foot of a closed home in October was $716 a foot compared to $746 a foot. So we're up $30 a foot, 5-ish percent, 6-ish percent from where we were last year. So very strong price per square foot. And we also are at $972 of an average closing price versus $850 last year at this time. So we're up over $100,000 of just average closing price. Now that's not always as indicative of how strong the market is because people might just be buying bigger homes. Maybe some more expensive homes came on the market this month than they did last year at this time. But the price per square foot, that averages everything out, right? That takes into account studios all the way to 3 bedrooms, townhouses, and condos, and it puts it all together, and we are seeing that go up 5, 6, 7% year over year in a market that has definitely had its struggles going through COVID. So popped right back and very strong market. One last thing we'll look at too is the asking to contract price ratio of pricing, right? So what did the seller ask versus what did they get? And we right now are at a 1.15 ask to contract ratio, meaning if you listed a home for $1 million, you're getting just under $999,000, right? A lot of going over asking, a lot of contracts at asking price, and a few just a percentage or two below, giving us an average of just getting 1.15 less than asking price. For comparison, last year at this time, we were hovering right around 5% of contract to ask price. So for that same $1 million home, you were looking at $995,000 rather than $950,000 rather than the almost full price ask contract that you're getting today. So what does this mean, right? Sellers, maybe don't wait till spring. We have a lot of people out there saying, I'm gonna wait till spring. That's when all the buyers come out. Buyers are here right now. October was very, very strong. What happens through the holidays? What happens with Thanksgiving and Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, things like that? Maybe it slows down, but right now we're poised to spring right through this next holiday season with the numbers and the statistics and the inventory we're looking at right now. So if timing works for you now and you're waiting to spring just because you think it might be a stronger market, take a second look at that and look at what's actually happening in the market rather than this average kind of year over year that we've been seeing for the past few years. It's a different world now. The cycles have changed. People are moving for different reasons with different timing than they were traditionally the last 5, 10 years before COVID came in and mixed up the whole living situation environment that we have, especially here in urban areas. And number two, if you're a buyer and you want to move, right? Like you have a plan, you want to purchase, want to take advantage of low interest rates, you have the money to put down a strong down payment, you have the right time horizon, all the things align. Don't wait for that perfect house. That one that's a 9 and 8 out of 10 might be the best shot you get in the next 6 months to move. So not saying to settle, I'm not saying to rush into things, I'm not saying to be irresponsible with your finances, but if you're waiting for that 10 out of 10, there's 10, 15 other buyers waiting as well, and they're just not coming on the market fast enough. We're seeing a lot of people move into the town, not a lot of people moving up in the town. What that means is that people that are moving in aren't selling something else or aren't vacating another place in town. They're creating more demand and no supply. When we see a move up market, then we see people who are giving up a property, they're letting someone else rent it, or putting it up for sale, creating at least some more supply in the market when they move. So we're not expecting to see this change anytime soon, given the influx of people from out of the city that are coming in rather than the move up from inside. So that's the sales market in a nutshell. Speaking of rentals, let's move on to rentals. The rental market is just like last month, guys. Absolute fire. We were talking about last month dropping into the double digits of active inventory. For context, we usually live around 200 active rentals on the market pre-COVID. We exploded to 1,000, and now we were talking about 90s and 80s. We are now steadily in the 70 active rentals on the market at any given time. So the market continues to move in that direction. We also last month saw the average rental price just knocking on the door of almost $3,000 a month. For context, back in May, we were looking at 2,500, 25, 22 or something like that. So just under 2,500, now we're just under 3,000. We're seeing, as I mentioned, just a large influx of new people coming for rentals as well, not giving up a one bedroom, moving to a two, but coming from out of town in, not creating more supply with their move, only creating more demand when they're moving into town. What does this mean? Landlords, the COVID specials are over. There is no reason to be giving discounts and paying broker fees and anything like that. We're seeing a lot of people asking for modest increases on renews from leases that started in the middle of COVID last year. Tenants they understand that they got a super deep discount the first year around, so they are willing to pay a fair market value for the most part now. And if they choose to move on and they're looking for a new place as well, the market's very strong right now, so there's no worries of sitting vacant for a long period of time like there was last year at this time. Tenants, on your side, what does that mean? Try to renew your lease. If you're gonna move to a new place, have all your ducks in a row. Don't come in, see a place, and then go, oh, let me go get my credit, let me fill out an application. Oh yeah, where are my pay stubs? Have it in an email saved, ready to go with your agent to give to the landlord immediately, because they were seeing 2, 3, 4 applications in the first week on almost every rental we put up in Hoboken. Speaking of in Hoboken versus maybe not in Hoboken, if you're looking for a rental and struggling in Hoboken right now, take a look at some of the adjacent markets. There are a lot of good deals. Prices are definitely up a little bit and it's competitive, but there are a lot of nice places for a reasonable price that are a 2-minute Uber, a light rail ride, a bus ride back into Hoboken, or a very easy commute into the city as well. So don't be afraid to expand your search a little bit if you need a place quickly, because it is very competitive in Hoboken. So guys, that's the takeaways for October. That's your market update. If you have any questions about your specific situation, how this applies to you, how you should be game planning or thinking about your move in the next month, 2 months, 6 months, whatever that time window frame is and that window looks like, feel free to reach out. Our team is always happy to have a personalized conversation with you about that. And we hope you guys have a great November, and we'll see you on the other side of Thanksgiving.